Okay, can you hear me? Let me see. Do I get a thumbs up? Okay, good morning, everyone. It may be noon where you are, or even the next day. Um, I am going to go ahead and get started. So, I'm going to be talking about because I deal with this all the time with my clients because by the time someone is coming to see me, they have an impaired barrier function, right? Whether it's with acne or um, hyperpigmentation or anti aging. So I looked it up. Generally, I'm working so much that I have very limited amount of time that I'm on social media. And I noticed that there were so many videos on impaired, how to repair your barrier function. So um, first of all, I want to tell you the fact. By the time you start to notice persistent dryness, peeling, sensitivity, inflammation, um, or just constant breakouts. By the time you're noticing that on your skin, that means in the inside, in your gut, the microbiome has been disrupted. So, what that does is it disrupts your skin barrier. So, you can, with correct skincare protocol, you can help relieve some of the inflammation, the drying, the constant peeling, the flaking, the sensitivity temporarily. However, when you see these things that you can repair your skin barrier in just a couple of days, that's not exactly true. What you're basically doing is you are relieving the symptoms of what your body is trying to tell you of what's going on much deeper for a longer period of time. And I know it can be really confusing watching all these videos where some people say, all you have to do is completely go vegan. All you have to do is eat a ketogenic diet. All you have to do is eat carnivore. And all your life's problems will be solved. And we all know that that is not true. All of our bodies are uniquely designed, and it just depends on how you are built and your background, what you ate growing up, what your mom, believe it or not, ate growing up while you were in the womb, if you were breastfed or not. Because as a baby, when you're still getting all of your gut microbiome, what when you're breastfed, you already get a whole array of gut microbiome to help you with the assaults of antibodies, right? Or assaults of being sick all the time, right? And so if you have a healthy gut, you have will have basically little to no allergies, and it doesn't matter what you eat, you will not get gas or bloating. Okay, so let's first talk about I did an outline because one of the things that my time is really precious, and I'm sure yours is too, is sometimes when people do lives, they kind of start veering off and start talking about other things, which is fine. That's just natural. But I have an outline here. So um, let's talk about what, first of all, your skin barrier, how it can be affected. Okay. So there's so many different variables. Um, and can you guys hear me? Like I'm sitting here like talking, and if you cannot hear me, or it starts to cut out, let me know. Can you give me a thumbs up and let me know if you can you guys hear me? Just want to make sure. Yes? Okay. Okay. So let's first talk about obviously what you put on your skin, your sleep, stress levels, also things you may not be able to control. So obviously sometimes stress you can't control, right? It's just how you respond to stress. But environment, um, okay, good. Um, let's see. So, okay, here's some things that most people don't realize: male or female, and age. So, male or female, let me give you some examples. So, for males, after the age of 40, so tool transepidermal water loss um, is a sign of impaired barrier function, right? So with up until the age of 40, pretty much your tool is about the same when you are not manipulating your skin. So obviously, if you're using extra exfoliants, you've done a assertive procedure, you're manipulating it. But naturally, the skin, as far as tool goes, it's pretty consistent until about age 40. Then when 40 comes, the lipid barrier starts to become impaired. You're not producing as much fatty acids around your skin cells. But men will start to have increased tool around their face and the neck the most. Now, females, what they've noticed, even comparing mature women and young women, when they measured the transepidermal water loss, they measured it on the neck, the forearm, and the hand, and they realized that the tool is about the same. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Now, let's talk about okay, so I know most of you guys are on here for serums, right? You want to know the best serum for glowing skin and anti-aging. Okay, I will get to that. But first, what I'm going to do is I am actually going to explain about skin barrier so that it helps you understand um, what type of serum is best for your skin versus what a magazine will tell you, an influencer will tell you. This will give you some knowledge on what works best for you. Okay. Let me see. So I'm gonna kind of refer back to my notes here, make sure I'm staying on track. Let's see. Okay, so for glowing skin is basically showing you that the water and the oil levels in your skin is balanced, right? Because when your skin is super dry and flaky, you're not getting that dead skin off, and the light hits the skin, this it will absorb the light, making your skin look duller, right? That's why when people talk about glass skin, they're manipulating their skin, right? In putting on humectants or oils where it will draw moisture to their skin. Oils don't draw moisture to the skin. It keeps the moisture in the skin by applying a layer of fatty acids on your skin, right? So when you have that good balance, then the light reflects, right? It reflects that. So someone who's got super oily skin, their skin now looks really shiny versus dewy, right? Because they've got more oil than water in and on their skin. Okay, so this, so okay, so here's one thing: the higher the dehydration levels of your skin, on your skin and in your skin, for longer periods of time, this is when you can have accelerated aging. Okay, because it's very low levels of inflammation that's going on. So you don't want that. And this is why there are some results that are happening where I am noticing that this younger generation is actually looking older than just a generation ago, because there is the introduction of all these new products that have a higher level of bioactives that can manipulate the skin even more. And because we have a social media will transfer information, whether it's incorrect or correct, faster. So then people think, I'll just use this because I heard that this was good, not really understanding that their skin may not be able to tolerate that. Okay. Okay. So for glowing skin, let's talk about skin hydration. Um, let's see. So generally speaking, so the stratum corneum is the top layer of your skin, right? That is where I talk about skin hydration actually increases as you get to age 40, and then it starts to go down, just like the lipid function. Okay. Okay, your décolleté. So for women, um, it is correlated positively with age. So Tool actually increases dehydration for women in their on their décolleté. So what starts out happening is if you observe your décolleté really close and you kind of do this, it will start to crinkle a little bit, and you're like, oh, my skin looks really dry and crepey. Then eventually what happens is you'll start to form fine lines just like on your face, and then eventually, if you got a lot of sun damage, you will start to get, oops, let's see, you will start to get like wrinkles that go um, vertically down. Okay. So I don't really have them because I started working. So my dad, it I mean, he's in his 90s now. He was a microbiologist and immunologist. So it was always he ate a lot of foods that was very high in probiotics. The Japanese diet has a lot of fermentation, lots of whole foods. So even though I've been in postmenopause now for over 10 years, I don't have that. Okay. So, um, I don't know if you can get a close up of that, but that's what happens. That's what starts to happen when you get older. However, younger ladies, if you're watching, you will start to notice that you will start to get it in your late 30s and 40s if your gut is unhealthy, but also if you got a lot of sun. Okay, so that's one of them. Let me see. Um, Okay, so skin barrier recovery starts to slow down. So what that happens is your skin has to recover every single time you wash your hands, because what you're doing is when you wash your hands, you're stripping your skin of its lipid barrier, right? Obviously. And so if you are having a diet that has a lot of essential fatty acids, even though your skin may feel a little bit dry, over the course of a few hours, your skin will still feel soft. It may be dry, the surface level feels dry because you stripped it. Your skin will actually start to recover that. The other one is how fast your skin naturally recovers its natural pH, which is slightly acidic. So that starts to get slower and slower, which is why you will see women start to complain about really dry, cracked hands, um, and it'll start to split for some people. Okay. Um, Let me see. Oh, I talked about that already. Oh, yeah. Okay. So there is a more than 30% reduction in lipid production as we get older. So obviously, that's why most people get drier. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel and you don't know who I am and you think I'm some random person just talking about this is actually my profession. So I have been treating clients with acne, hyperpigmentation, anti aging for over 18 years now. This is actually my fourth career. So I actually went into it after a career in corporate. Um, and so I started when I was a little bit older doing this. And I've done over 27,000 treatments. And what I specialize in is those areas without topical medication. How I'm a little bit different is I use what's called the three-pronged approach. And basically, it is by the time someone sees me, typically they've seen a lot of different people and they don't know what to do. So, my three-pronged approach is I do a very long consultation asking them questions about their products, not the products that they're using, the foods that they're eating, past skin treatments that they've done, and basically their lifestyle, because there is I try to create a protocol which is realistic to them, because if it's totally opposite of their lifestyle, they're not going to stick to it. So for example, for people who spend a lot of time outdoors, they want to treat their hyperpigmentation. So how do we do that when they're always outdoors? So we do that for people who spend too much time indoors. And then just kind of the supplements that we have to talk about and skincare products for them. So it's very highly catered towards that. So if you find yourself struggling, you're buying a bunch of products that you thought would work It's not necessarily, I don't know, it could be the product itself, but it also could be the combination of the products that you're using together. It may be an incorrect protocol and or your diet as well. So like I said, typically people who I see, by the time they come see me, they've tried all these different things and it hasn't worked. So if you are tired of doing that, I've put links down below in the description for not only my consultation, but also a quiz that you can take to find out what are some things that you can do and some of the supplements I'm going to be talking about, as well as skincare products, because we're going to be addressing both how you can take care of your skin, both orally and topically. So we're going to do both. Okay. All right. Um, okay. So let's talk about if any of you are on here that have mature skin. Okay. Um, so if you have like mature skin, we're going to be talking about that. And actually, this is going to affect younger women, since younger women nowadays are um, doing, younger women have grown up with more processed food more than ever and using skincare products that are more bioactive than ever before. So let's talk about first ceramide 2 and mature women, okay, or mature women's skin. And if you have constantly peeling skin, whether it's your scalp, your face, your hands, your lips, your feet, your legs, you might be interested in this. Okay. Okay. So, ceramide 2 helps repair the skin barrier. So, basically, what it does is it keeps the water and lipid balance in your skin balanced. Okay. It reduces inflammation, it helps the skin recover a lot faster, and it helps keep the skin soft and supple. So, one of the things that I found really interesting when I was personally treating people is sometimes when a young woman came in and I would feel her skin, it would feel really rough and dry. And I would think, she's only 26 years old. Why does her skin feel so dry and rough, very textured? And then another woman would come in and she would be like 60s and her skin was soft and supple. That would tell me that it may be that her skin was missing ceramide too. Now, before you go rush out and say, I need to find a ceramide 2, uh, cream. Okay, listen really carefully. Okay, so your skin cells are every cell that you have is protected. The outer wall is protected by a lipid. Okay, um, and so it's not just about putting it on here. So think if your skin is magnified, think of your skin like a brick wall. I use this illustration a lot. Every brick is just pretend that it is um, a skin cell. And then the mortar, the cement that's in between, that's holding them together, that's called the intracellular cement, and it's referred to as the intercellular glue as well. That's what holds skin cells together. And you are, as the skin cells are dying and turning over, um, that intercellular cement starts to wear down. So imagine, let's say that the cement starts to get like holes in it and you can actually kind of pick through it and kind of, do this. Eventually, when you see old buildings, you'll see a brick wall and parts of it are kind of crumbling down. Now imagine saying, well, I'm going to use Elmer's glue and I'm going to coat it and then put the bricks in. And that should work. That's what women are doing when they are just paying attention to skincare, applying skincare, and not eating and not paying attention to what they are eating. So that's one. The other thing is that if they are using products that are filled with emulsifiers, Most of it's water, a lot of chemicals that actually bind the oil and water together, and fragrances. So we want to, when you want to help replenish that brick wall, your skin, you have to have your body make new bricks and new intercellular cement. Does that make sense? Okay. So Romy is on here. She's 67. So, okay, so she's like in my age group, right? So if there's anyone else that's, and if you guys can put your age on there, that would help, because then I can kind of cater the information that I'm telling you to you, right? So, okay, so let's talk about, first of all, everyone talks about ceramides and saying if you just use this cream, if you just use this, you've got to replace it with your own body. So, what we're going to talk about, and I will address, and if you guys are vegan, vegetarian, whatever, I tried to cater this information for both. Okay. So 56. Okay. So, okay, I'm talking to people who are like my age. Okay. You know what's really interesting? In my YouTube analytics, which I should look at it more. The majority of people who watch my videos are in their mid 30s to mid 40s. Not, and women who are older, it's only 13%. So I'm wondering if it's because we typically watch people who are very similar to us, and I don't come across as being older. I'm not really sure, but I'm so glad that I have some people who are actually my age. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, we're going to be talking about first oral supplements. Okay, because basically if I go right into the serum, you guys buy the serum or whatever, you're just doing the Elmer's glue, right? Thinking that it's going to make the brick wall nice and tight. And that's not what's going to do it. Okay. And that's another thing. When you do invasive procedures as you get older, you really have to have these supplements, because you have injured your skin, you've torn apart your skin, right? Whether it's with surgery or like these laser resurfacing, like serious things. You've got to have, your body has to have enough of these amino acids, glycoproteins, to repair the skin to make it look good, right? So the first one I'm going to be talking about, if you guys have you guys heard of colostrum? Okay, let me know in the comments if you guys have heard of colostrum. So this is what I take. You don't have to take this one. I like this one because this one is grass. It's 100% grass fed. Now, I understand if you guys are vegan or vegetarian, we'll go into that too. Okay. So Janice, she's back. Janice was actually a client of mine back when I was still living in California and had a brick and mortar. So welcome, Janice. I typically don't do lives in because I'm usually doing consultations, and I do them Saturday. So if you're new, I typically do that on Saturday, but I'm doing it Friday because Saturday I've got some other things going on. Okay, like in breast. Yes. So colostrum is the first. It's the thick, highly nutritious. It's not even milk. It's almost like clotted cream that comes out for the calf. Okay, so now it's dehydrated. So if you haven't seen it, it almost looks like, if you haven't seen it, let me show you. It's quite expensive, so I don't want to spill it. Let's see. It almost looks like, protein powder, but almost like artificial creamer. Okay, you can add it in water. It doesn't have any taste. And you don't want to put it in like hot water, because it will destroy a lot of the nutrients in there. I put it in a smoothie, but so it's got vital nutrients in here like immunoglobulins, lactoferrin, growth factors, cytokines, and proline-rich polypeptides. Okay, so here's what we're going to talk about, especially for you mature women, since this is what it seems like finally I get my audience, right? Okay. So, so you actually get, and I'm promoting this because I have seen it. Um, I do really well with my skin because this is my profession, but it really improves your hydration, elasticity, wrinkles around the eyes. Now, just because you're starting to take it with one container, that all of a sudden you look, but you see it gradually over time. And this is why I'm going to keep going back to, but this is going to help with healthy gut, but you have to have a healthy gut. Why? Because that is where your gut pulls the nutrients out of the foods that you eat, the live enzymes, all of that for your body to use. If you don't, it'll just pass right through you. You won't absorb that. Okay. It's really good if you have autoimmune disorders too, because it actually helps reduce a lot of the inflammation that's going on in your body. You will experience, so for me, even though I eat very healthy, I have a healthy gut, I do have an autoimmune. I think it was triggered because I never got sick. I would get a couple like coughs or whatever, and then it would pass. Um, I got COVID, and then I never got better. And they thought, first of all, people thought it was long COVID, and when I finally got tested, it was autoimmune. So something triggered that in in me to get the autoimmune. Okay, so because of that, I don't know if you can see it. You can see my the rheumatoid arthritis right here, swelling here. So when I take it, it actually reduces a lot of that. Um, okay, so here's one of the things that's in cholesterol. It's called sphingomyelins, and what that is how do I explain this? It plays a role. It plays a role. I don't want to get too sciencey on you because I've been told that I talk too. It's like my language is too difficult to understand. Basically, what it does, it plays a role in mm, cell signaling, and structure of the cells, um, to help form like cluster lipids in your cells, but your skin cells. So, okay, so go back to the brick wall. This helps make and form the intercellular cement in between the brick walls to help repair the skin's barrier, if that makes any sense. Okay? Because most people are thinking you could eat all these essential fatty acids, right? But if your cells aren't giving off the right signals, it won't form clusters, right? For that intercellular cement, which I'm talking about the skin. This does this all over your body, of course. So, like, it translates to your hair being smoother and softer, not as frizzy, anything that requires moisture. Okay, so I put the link in the description below if you are interested in something like this. There's other varieties, but I liked it because it is grass fed. When you read carefully and it just says bovine, colostrum, but it doesn't say grass fed. You don't know if the cows were fed genetically modified corn. You don't know what they were fed. So I like something like that. So basically, it helps rebuild the lipids in not only your cells but your skin cells, right, and around the cells. So that really helps because that will really reduce the amount of water that's being escaped, the tool, and the skin peeling of your skin. Okay. Okay, so it also has what's called lactoferrin. Now this is really important. Lactoferrin actually helps regulate the iron absorption in your body. So for younger women, they need more iron for obvious reasons. Now, older women, um, when you can have too much iron. So when that happens, that accelerates aging. I did a video on that a long time ago. That too much iron in the blood accelerates aging for both men and women, but especially for some reason, women. Women, with all of our bells and whistles, we are more sensitive, it seems like, to just environmental triggers. I think that's why you're seeing so many women have autoimmune disorders. Um, so it actually helps with bone growth. Now, I recently got a DEXA scan, and it shows I have osteopenia. So that's the precursor to osteoporosis. Now, I've been doing weight training most of my life. But both of my grandmothers were totally hunched over, so osteoporosis runs in my family. I can't control that. I'm very petite. I don't have a lot of bone mass, so that's another one that's prone to that. So even with my weight training, I still have osteopenia. So what this is going to do is it's actually going to help stimulate not only bone growth but help preserve the calcium in my bones. So if that is important to you, that's something that you may want to consider. Okay. Uh, Makes sense. Apples to gut lining as well. Oh, she retracted it because that didn't make sense. Okay. So this, so it helps with gut health, which then leads to your healthy skin microbiome. Okay. It is long term, it is impossible to have a very healthy skin microbiome if your gut is not healthy. And the way that you know that is if your skin is oversensitive, it's sensitive to all kinds of products, it's highly reactive, you don't have enough in your lipid barrier. So that's one. If your skin is consistently really, really dry. Now, I'm not talking about environmental when you are outside exposed to a lot of heat, very extreme temperatures. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about overall. Okay. So, yes, your skin is going to become more sensitive, especially after postmenopause, but you can help delay that. So, with some of the things that I'm telling you, okay? Um, Okay, now let's talk about phytoceramides. I don't know how many of you are vegan or vegetarian, but I do want to address this as well. If you're already looking at this and you're saying I can't take this because I don't consume animal protein, fine. You can get phytoceramides. So phyto, as we know, is another word for plant. So you can get it from sweet potatoes, rice, I know wheat germ, right? Um, Anything? Oats, soybeans, nuts, and sweet potato. Now, here you can get that from that, but you have to remember the amount that you actually need. You would have to eat quite a bit of this, but it still helps. So I do recommend that you increase your consumption of this. However, you also, in addition to that, you're probably going to need supplements. Okay. Now, I put links in the description of some of them, and I let's see, I actually made it very clear because some of them do have wheat germ in it. Some of them are they say it's vegetarian, but the capsule is gelatin. So that's not vegan, but and then I also did one that was vegan. So just so you know, there's like different ones. Now, full disclosure, I don't take the phytoceramides. I take this. So just so you know. So I've never tried that. Now, you have to be careful. If you have if you're low in vitamin Bs, you do have to limit your consumption of white rice and starches and carbohydrates because that in the gut can actually help impair absorption of vitamin Bs. So you do have to be careful with that. Okay. Okay. Are you guys finding this helpful? Um, Give me a thumbs up if you're finding it helpful, and let me know if you have any questions thus far. Because I'm just like, talking, 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 and I want to make sure that I address any questions for anyone that has come. Okay. 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 Great. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about. Um, okay. So I talked briefly about foods, how they help nourish manufacturing of the skin cells, new skin cells, your lipids, your glycoproteins. So basically, glycoproteins help attract and retain moisture. And for those of you who have watched long enough, my videos, What is that basically? That's a natural humectant. So all these people who are using hyaluronic acid, right? Your body makes its own type. I mean, not only do we make hyaluronic acid, but we also make glycoproteins. Okay. Um, okay, so your body, like I mentioned before, your body cannot utilize all the nutrients, all the things that you, including carbohydrates and calories. That's why some people who have really unhealthy gut, they are unintentionally losing weight. And for some people, they cannot um, gain weight, right? Okay, so I talked about some probiotics. There's a whole bunch out there. I tested one. There's some. Thank you, Stacy, for giving me the feedback, and Romy. I love all these thumbs up. So, um, okay, so we talk a lot about the gut. Now, there is, if you're talking specifically about skin and your gut, I did a video all on that, but I do want to emphasize, I've tried a lot of them where I still had fatigue. I still was struggling with a lot of things. This one here that I'm trying, and there's a whole bunch out there that are good. So I'm going to tell you all the ones that are good, and I'm the ones I don't find that really helped, I'm just not going to mention. Typically, generally speaking, without calling any specific brands out, what I have found is the ones you get at the drugstore are not great. Okay. The vitamins, not all of them, but a lot of the vitamins that are bigger names that you find at Costco are usually owned by big pharma, and they are synthetically derived. So when you can get a big bottle of vitamins for 20 bucks, that should tell you something. It is expensive to get because it's usually derived from whole foods, and that whole process is going to be more expensive. Okay, so this one is called, and this one is not, it's not being sponsored or anything like that. It's called Your Biology Gut. Okay. And okay. Now, this is fairly inexpensive too. A lot of the other ones tend to be more expensive. Um, so this one is actually, I think, moderately priced because it has the Bifidobacterium breve, Lactobacillus fermentum. That's Lactobacillus acidophilus, which is a common strain that you're going to have. And I broke down all the ones that are especially for skin barrier repair in a video, which I will put up um, later after we process this video. Okay, so if you want, there is a discount code in the link below if you're interested in doing it. Um, I think the one that has the 3 bottle one is the best deal because I did the math and you divide it by 3. So that one was the best one. Anyway, so that's this. Okay, so let's now talk about skin serum. Oh, so before I move on to that, we just briefly talked about oral supplementation and foods. Do we have any? Questions before I move on to topical, which is going to be the skincare products? If there isn't, we can move on. Um, and I'm going to give you guys some time to type in any kind of questions if you want. Okay. And I will answer them as they come up. Okay. So let's talk about, now I'm going to be first talking about how to help repair your ceramides. So first, I really want to make it clear that just by using skincare products to replace your ceramides, it's not going to do that. It's more to really help your skin heal faster, right? And kind of reduce the symptoms of peeling, inflammation, sensitivity, dryness, dryness, right? So, okay, let's talk about the first one that I know well. So there is a, excuse me, there is a bias. I'm going to tell you up front that there is a bias because I've been working with this product for a long time with my clients. I use it myself, especially when I started to notice I had a lot of skin, excuse me, skin peeling. Okay, let me get that out. This one is called the MD Dermaceutical Dew Drops. It's not full, so I don't know if you can see it right here. So this one right here, how you would use this, because I'm very familiar with it, it's formulated to be used, excuse me, formulated to be used in a different ways for different treatments. So let me see if I can squeeze it out. Do I have enough in there? Okay, so see how it's kind of like, see if I can. Oh, it's not gonna, hold on. Okay, it's almost like a gel, like a cream gel. I don't know if you can see that right here. Okay, so it's very, oh, let's see if I can get a reflection of it. It's very light. See that? It's almost like a, okay. So why I prefer serums over creams when you are supplementing your skin with ceramides is because it's more readily absorbed. When creams have a higher percentages of wax or oils, it tends to these are occlusive agents, so they tend to sit on top of the skin. It doesn't get like absorbed like this does, right? So this product I know very well. So this is for why I like it is because I don't like to have a whole bunch of different products for just this. So this is for people who have sensitive skin, inflamed skin, dry skin, acne skin, rosacea. It's all different skin conditions, right? Because we all have ceramides in our skin. Now, this formulation has a good balance, just like our skin, humectants, occlusive agents, and emollients, but they are all natural. So why I like it is they're not using. You see this more and more in products is, you see silicone, you see emulsifying agents, skin conditioning agents, just a lot of fillers in there. So this ingredient, I actually had to write it out. It does so. There's no petroleum-based humectants, emulsifiers, no microplastics to make it seem like your skin is smoother. Okay, so what this has is it's 100% organic ingredients, and it has so first of all, it's not water. The main ingredient is aloe vera gel. So already it is filled with natural polysaccharides that help bring moisture to the skin. So that's the aloe vera gel. The next one is um, the organic sunflower oil. Now, I wrote down here, this is kind of interesting. The sunflower oil has 68% ceramides, fatty acid that mature skin is depleted in. So it has one of the higher amounts. Now, one of the highest amounts is safflower oil. That's why you see safflower oil in a lot of eczema type treatments. But it's really thick and like you could constantly rub it, and it just like has this like it just stays on top of the skin, right? And that is not conducive to people who want it on their face. So they used sunflower oil. Kosher vegetable glycerin. I'm reading this off here. The grapeseed extract for the resveratrol, and it has jojoba seed oil, right? Jojoba seed, it's not really an oil, it's a wax ester, but it's the most compatible to human sebum. So because of that, it mimics human sebum on your skin. So it has that on there. It has hyaluronic acid. It does have ethyl hexaglycerin and phenoxyethanol. Um, Now let's talk about. Let me see where I have it on here. Oh yeah, jojoba oil has up to 96% ceramides. Um, Now, contrary to popular belief, olive oil has only 10% ceramides. It's really good in dissolving dirt and oil and makeup. And this is why a lot of foaming cleansing oils will have coconut oil. But because it can dehydrate the skin, right? Because it's pulling everything off, it's best to have other oils that have a different lipid profile to not make it so dehydrating. Okay. And what you'll see is if it's all 100% olive oil, they will use diglycerides, again, synthetic fatty acid profiles to help kind of balance out the olive oil so it's not so drying. Okay. Um, I have to avoid gluten, but for those of you who are not gluten sensitive, you can use wheat germ because wheat germ has 55% ceramides. Okay. So the ingredients in this is vitamin E oil, so tocopherol, um, and so phenoxyethanol and ethyl hexaglycerin work together. So that's more of a preservative booster. So that's what you have to have. And basically, it just inhibits bacteria odor causing bacteria growth. So first, there is no such skincare product that has absolutely no um, preservative. You have to have it shelf stable to prevent fungus, mold, and yeast growth. Okay, but it's the type of what they're using. So this is fragrance free, paraben free, silicone free, all of that. Um, and it's formulated to layer skin. So for those of you who have oily skin, you can use this as a light moisturizer when your skin is moist. Those of you who have dry, mature skin, what you can do is so after you put on your bioactive serums, you let that absorb. You will put like a like a hydrating toner. You want small water droplets on your face. Then you put this on. And then after you put this on, this is for people who have very lipid poor skin. This is not going to be enough for some of you. Then you may put on another cream. And what I recommend, again, it depends on your skin type, but you want another cream that has higher amounts of sunflower oil, but still jojoba oil because the jojoba oil will act as a delivery system because it mimics human sebum to be able to get down into the skin. Okay. Um, let's see. Oh, so here's a question here for just starting tretinoin. Also wondering if rice water is effective in your opinion. So rice water, so that depends on how you're going to use rice water. Rice water, like for brightening, or you didn't really specify for what for. Okay, so you're 47 and you're using so tretinoin. So what are you using the tretinoin for? So because some people use tretinoin for controlling acne, other people use tretinoin for fine lines and wrinkles, other people use it for the treatment of age spots. So it depends. Is this good to shrink pores? Okay, so there is nothing that will permanently shrink pores as we age. So think of your pores as springs in a mattress, right? The collagen and elastin. So when you do this, right, or do this, it springs back, right? And as we get older, just like a mattress that's used over and over, right? It loses its spring. And so if you've ever seen a mattress that's been thrown out, it kind of has that concave kind of it doesn't have that spring anymore. That's like our skin, right? It slowly starts to sag more. So when you pinch it, it doesn't go back, it kind of stays. Um, those are the collagen and elastin. So as the springs loosen, the pores start to get bigger. And that is common for women, especially after menopause, because our estrogen, which um, helps stimulate collagen and elastin production. It's so the collagen and elastin fibers start to loosen, so the springs start to loosen. So then your pores start to appear larger because it's not as tight, right? Like the springs are. So men typically have larger pores anyway, and they tend to produce more oils on their skin versus women. That's why, generally speaking, if you look at men's face up close, which I've had the experience of doing because of what I do, they typically will have larger pores anyway. So you can use products that temporarily shrink pores. That's why it will say minimize the appearance of pores, right? Because it's temporarily shrinking them. Um, but your pores will be they will start to become larger. So Romy, to answer your question, um, for shrinking pores, what I would do most of the time, what is good for helping your pores stay slimmer is microcurrent, because that will increase, again, this is at the cellular level, it will increase the ATP, the adenosine triphosphate, in the mitochondria of the cell. So that's the energy resource of the cell, and that will help stimulate the fibroblasts to create collagen and elastin. So if you go onto my um, website, there's pictures of women who've used the microcurrent where you can see their skin is much firmer and tighter and lifted. Okay. So if you want to take a look at that, actually, I can show you that. Let me pull that up. And you can kind of look at the before and after. Okay, let me put a link to that so you can see. I'll put it here. Okay, and you can kind of take a look. Okay, let me kind of go through all of this. Stacy, I'm so glad that you're finding this informative. So for fine lines, okay. So if you are choosing to do fine lines, then you're going to have to expect that your barrier will be impaired. I have had a lot of clients who've used tretinoin or retin-A for a number of years, and when we start out, they are reactive to everything. They finally stopped using tretinoin because their skin became so sensitive over time. They didn't find that out when they were in their mid 30s, but when they're seeing me in their 40s and 50s and 60s, their skin now, because they don't even have their natural lipid barrier, I have to start from scratch with them. Everything is sensitive to them. Like their skin is so sensitive. So if you are still at the point, Stacy, where you have just fine lines, I would highly recommend that because there's other ways. I cannot use tretinoin or retin-A. I get hives, so I don't use that at all. So it is possible to have good skin without using that. It is absolutely possible. And so do I have sensitive skin? No, I don't have sensitive skin. Um, I can have drier skin, especially since I have moved up to where I am. It's arid climate. So I do have some bouts of dryness, but overall, I don't have dry skin. So, um, so the a lot of these women that have been using tretinoin, that they come with an impaired barrier function. So If you're using it for that, I would look into other means. But if you are dead set on using tretinoin, um, I really would eat a diet higher in omega 3s for lipids, because your skin is going to be making more because you are increasing the skin cell turnover rate. So it's forcing your body to make skin cells faster. You're going to experience total transepidermal water loss because your skin is shedding at an abnormal rate to the point where it cannot hold on to the water long enough. That's why you see a lot of that peeling. Okay. So, um, that's probably something that I would look into. And brightening, there are a lot less aggressive methods. I know because I specialize in that, of brightening up your skin without using topical medication. Okay. You also need to, I would help support your liver, because once you start using a topical medication, your liver has to work harder to get to excrete that, because your skin is part of the integumentary system. It does absorb into your skin. Okay. Okay. Um, oh, you're welcome, Janice. Okay. So, okay. Um, the other one I was going to talk about too is one you can get on Amazon. It is, I'm only going to talk about the fairly clean ones. Okay. Um, and I put the link in the below if you want to check it out. I'll tell you the pros and the cons. And it's from a company called, I hope I pronounce it correctly. It is called, let me find it here. Cocoa Kind. It's a ceramide serum, cocoa kind. So pros. The first ingredient, just like the MD Dermaceutical, is also aloe vera, aloe vera juice, leaf juice. Okay. There's several different types of ceramides and cholesterol that's in this. Now, the reason why I don't have it with me, I'm not going to, because I have an autoimmune disorder, there's a lot of influencers that will actually try all these different things and put them on their skin. But because I understand how it can affect your body, and because I have an autoimmune disorder, I'm not going to needlessly put it on. I'm going to tell you about it. If you want to check it out yourself, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay. So the pros of this, it also has sunflower oil as well. That's also very good for mature skin. Now it does have squalane. So squalene is in our skin, but they use squalane um, for your skin. Now, if you have breakout prone skin, even if you have dry mature skin, but you are breakout prone, that's also a sign of impaired barrier function. But if you do, then I probably wouldn't recommend this because it does tend to break out some skin types. The humectants that they use is glycerin and beta glucan. So beta glucan is typically derived from oats, and it's a natural anti-inflammatory as well. Cons. So this could be a con, or you may not even care about it. It does have as a preservative sodium benzoate. That's high on the list, actually. I counted it. It's number 12. That's pretty high. Um, um, Also, cetyl alcohol. It's a fatty alcohol, so it may cause breakouts for some people. I say that because I deal with clients that have breakout prone skin. Um, and it may cause, initially when it goes on, it feels good, but it may cause dryness later because it is a fatty alcohol. Let me see. It does use gums and thickener to help restore the skin barrier. Okay. Okay. So that's why I'm saying it's relatively clean compared to some other ones. Now, uh, the popular brands, I did look at the ingredients like Paula's Choice, Ceramide Moisturizer, CeraVe. These were some of Amazon's best sellers. And they had vinyl dimethicone. One of them had, I think, 3 or 4 different types of silicone, uh, dipropylene glycol, stabilizers. They had more fatty alcohols than actual ceramides. So it's up to you if you want to use them, but they're not really addressing the issue. okay, of ceramides. They're just making your skin feel good temporarily. It's not replacing it. The other one that was fairly clean is Honest Beauty. Now, Honest Beauty has one that's called a hydrogel. Now, this is a cream, okay? So this is not a serum. The pros: no paraben, uses jojoba esters just like the MD Dermaceutical does, no silicone, synthetic dyes, fragrances. It has natural ceramides, they're not synthetic. Cons, and this depends again on your view. The fourth ingredient is polyglycerol 4 isosterate. This is a plant-based chemical, and it gives it a silky texture instead of using silicone. So it's an alternative for using a silicone. This is not recommended for breakout skin as well because it does have squalane. Okay, so again, you can check that out yourself. Um, Okay, so any questions? Oh, here we go. For 60-year-old skin, how many times should we be exfoliating? I'm using tretinoin. Okay, Jane. Um, oh, Jane, I think you've ordered from us before. Okay, so should be exfoliating. Well, if you're using tretinoin, you don't really need to exfoliate. However, some tretinoin creams have um, petroleum in them or petroleum derived ingredients in them. Please take a look and see. So if you're using this cream, the tretinoin is obviously exfoliating your skin, but some people have complained that they use the cream, they get bumpy skin. So that may be the other ingredients that's in your cream. So if that's the case, I would gently exfoliate with something that doesn't have any glycolic acid or no exfoliating products that you leave on. I know those are so popular, but the kind where you apply it on your skin, exfoliate your skin, and then rinse off. Those are the best kinds, especially if you have mature skin. Because when you leave on exfoliants, this is why you slowly see an increase of oversensitization of the skin because you leave on those acids on your skin, then you apply other products on your skin that can actually make your skin more reactive as time goes by. So I would probably say maybe once a week of a deep exfoliation using a very gentle exfoliant, maybe lactic acid. Lactic acid tends to be better for people who have drier, more sensitive, mature skin because lactic acid is also um, it brings moisture to the skin as well. Okay, so that's probably what I would do. It's just once a week, maybe twice a week. But how many times are you using tretinoin a week? Because that would also, that would also be something that would take into account. Okay, all right. So if that is all, I just wanted to talk about the barrier repair because it really does start in your gut. And there's certain strains that are better to help restore your barrier repair. But I did also bring in this, the colostrum, just because of the other things that help your skin as well, especially for drier, more sensitive, mature, and reactive skin. Okay. So if there is no other questions, again, all the just the links in the I'm getting better at it, ladies and gentlemen, if there's a gentleman here, getting better at it with putting the links in. Sometimes I just talk about things and then I know I forget to put the links in. So if you don't have any other questions, oh, and going back, Stacy, if you're still here, as far as the rice water for brightening, so rice water, if you're using, if you're making your own rice water, it can get it can get sour smelling really quick because of the yeast and the fungus and the mold growth. If you're using a product that's actually like formulated for rice water, you do have to be careful. It does have phytic acid, which is not naturally brightening. But see, you're not leaving it on your skin, so it does very little. Um, if you're interested in natural brighteners, I always recommend the translucent powder. I've been using it for over 25 years. It stays on your skin. It has silk amino acids and it balances the moisture retention and oil control. If you guys have oil in your skin, and see, I'm learning. I'm actually going to get the link for that so you can actually, if you're interested in it, you can try it. Um, and I apologize for the large one being sold out for such a long time. It's finally back in stock, but the manufacturer that I've been using for a long, long time could not get the extra large anymore. So I'm going to put that in the link right here. Um, spell. Okay, wait. How do I spell what? Is enzyme exfoliating mask will be good also. Also, is face massaging and fascia release will help to lift face? Yes, to some extent. To some extent. Now, I cannot see your face, so when if you've got like sagging jowls, not saying that you do, but if you do, or significant sagging, you there you can only do plastic surgery where they actually remove the excess fat or the skin and then pull it back. If you've got a little bit of sagging, that'll help firm it up a little bit. If you've got medium sagging, then there's other methods that you can do that are not quite as invasive. So I guess the answer is it depends. Okay. So um, I don't know what you meant, Stacy, by how do you spell that? Because I don't remember. I don't know what I said. So, or what specific word. Okay. So I know that Friday is usually not a popular day, but anyway, um, I'm just going to keep it short today. We'll just keep it short. It's at an hour. But I just wanted to go through those very quickly. And then if you're interested, I will have my editor kind of edit it down for just like different topics if you guys are interested. Okay. So if you have any other questions, you can reach out to me via email. I try to answer as much email as possible. My email has changed. So, I will be sending out an email letting you guys know of what my email is. Okay? All right. Talk to you soon. Enjoy your weekend. Talk to you soon.